Hello, and you're welcome to this class. This is literature. In our last class, in our last literature class, we discussed the branches of literature. We talked about the three perspectives, the three dimensions, or we refer to them as the three branches, the three areas, the three ways, whichever way you want to have it as. We talked about the three branches of literature. That is the three perspectives from which literature can portray life. Remember that literature is a field of study that portrays life. Okay, we talked about the drama, we talked about the prose and the poetry. And today we are going to be looking at the drama. Now, there is something known as the drama in literature. This is what we are going to be treating, the drama in literature. Remember, when we mentioned the drama in the last class, we said that the drama is a branch of literature which is meant to be acted on a stage or in a theater. There are definitions, there are books that you will visit, and you'll be told that the drama is a branch of literature which is designed for stage or theatrical performance. It is still the same thing. What it is still trying to tell you is that drama as a branch of literature is meant to be acted. Now, if you talk about the prose is a different branch of literature on its own. It has its own way of viewing life. It has its own way of presenting life. If you talk about the poetry, it has its own way. But this particular one known as the drama, it presents life by acting. That is to say, drama is a branch of literature that is meant to be presented. It is not meant to be read from a book. It is not meant just to be listened to. Drama is meant to be heard as it is being acted and then seen or watched as it is being presented. This is why we say that the drama is meant to be presented on a stage or in a theater. There are other definitions. There are books that will tell you that the drama is a branch of literature which is best realized when it is acted on a stage. Now, whichever definition you want to come with, the drama has to do with acting. Okay, now we want to talk about this drama. This drama as a branch of literature has types or forms, as you may wish to call it. There is something known as the tragedy. All right, we have the comedy, and the third one we have the tragi-comedy. I believe that someone knows about this. I believe this is not strange. Now, whenever you talk about the tragedy as a type of drama, there is this definition that my students will always give to me, that the tragedy is a play that starts sadly and ends sadly. Listen, that definition is not so wrong. I am not going to condemn it. I won't say that it is wrong. But I always tell my students that that definition is elementary. It's a definition that is usually given to kids as at the time that they are still being weaned into understanding literature. So at a point, you have to drop that definition. If you talk about the tragedy is a type of drama which treats serious issues. It's the issues that the tragedy treats are serious. So the tragedy is a type of drama or a form of drama which treats serious issues. It arouses unpleasant emotions and usually involves death. That is tragedy. From that adjective, tragic, when you say that something is tragic, what does it mean? Now, that will tell you what tragedy is. Tragedy, that form of drama that arouses unpleasant emotions. Are there situations where you are seeing, let me use a movie, are there situations where you are seeing a movie and you find yourself crying or wanting to cry? Are there situations where you are seeing a movie and you have this fear within you? Are there times you're seeing a movie and you feel some kind of sympathy for somebody inside the movie? Now, whichever movie, whichever drama arouses these negative feelings, these unpleasant feelings, I tell you that that drama or that movie is a tragic one. This is why we say that the tragedy is a form of drama which treats serious issues, arouses unpleasant emotions, and usually involves death. Now, that is about the tragedy. If you talk about the comedy, just like I said in the tragedy, there are, if you come over here in the comedy, students will tell you that the comedy is a type of drama which starts happily and ends happily. It is also not so wrong, but then let us change it. We talk about the comedy as a type, as a form of drama which is chiefly meant to invoke laughter. It is chiefly meant to provoke laughter among the audience and to make people happy. This is what the comedy majorly is about. It is meant to provoke laughter. Okay, now the third one, we have what we know as the tragic comedy. The tragic comedy. This third form of drama, the tragic comedy, is that form of this tragic comedy is that form of drama which combines the features of the tragedy and the comedy. That is to say, you will find some elements of tragedy in it, and you also find some elements of comedy in it. What does this mean? It means that whenever you are seeing the tragic comedy, you you find out that it treats serious issues quite all right. It arouses fear. It could arouse fear. It could arouse sympathy. Just those kind of feelings that you have when you're seeing this. It's possible here. You get to see it here. But at some point, it will also make you laugh and be happy. It has a way of combining the features of tragedy and comedy. Now, that is about these three. All right. Now, when you talk about the comedy, this comedy has types. I believe somebody already knows about this. The comedy has types. We have the what we know as the satire. Some will refer to it as the satire, while some will refer to it as the satirical comedy. Now, whenever you talk about this satire, the satire is that type of comedy which aims at correcting certain ills in the society. What does this mean? There are these comic works you see. Remember what the comedy does. The comedy is meant to make you laugh and be happy. Now, there are this comic work you see. There are this comedy work you see. Let me put it that way. And you find out that in as much as it makes you laugh, in as much as you laugh and you're happy while seeing it, within it, there is something that it is trying to point out. There are usually lessons that it wishes to pass, especially as it has to do with things that are wrong in the society. Now, I always use this a particular comedy work by Mark Angel whenever I talk about this. There's that situation where there is this comedy by Mark Angel where you see Emanuela telling a particular professor. The professor claims that there is no God because he is a professor, and that science proves that whatever you cannot see and you cannot touch does not exist. Therefore, God does not exist. That is his own belief. Now, Mark Angel, through his comedy, and in fact, through Emanuela, speaks to such people. He tells them, you hear Emanuela asking the professor, who told you there is no God? And the professor says, my sense. Emanuela begins to ask, where is your sense? Can you touch it? Can you see it? Now, if you cannot see it and you cannot touch it, it simply means that you do not have sense. Because science says that whatever you cannot see or touch does not exist. Therefore, you don't have sense. Somebody will recall that comedy. That comedy is satiric. Yes, it will make you laugh, but you find out that there is something that it wishes to correct. The satiric comedy aims at correcting something that is wrong. It might be correcting something about notions, about beliefs, about behaviors, about attitudes. But just understand it that is, whenever you hear about satire, it aims at correcting the ills. It aims at correcting something. It aims at passing lesson while making people laugh. That is about the comedy. We have what we know as the romantic comedy. Now, in literature, whenever you hear romantic, it refers to love. Now, romantic comedy is that type of comedy, that type of drama that treats love affairs. Such a drama where you find two lovers, two people who are in love. In most of the cases, it will present two people who are in love, and these two people will have their love battled, will have their love combated by some forces, maybe by their parents, maybe by some external factors. It can be by anything. Two people who are in love, but that love is usually under threat, and at the end, the love always wins. The love usually triumphs. Now, such kind of a work is what you know as romantic comedy. It normally treats love affairs. Okay, after that, we have what we know as the farce. Now, this form of comedy makes use of exaggerated characters and events. It is a form of comedy that makes use of exaggerated and improbable events and characters to provoke laughter among the audience, while it does not pass any serious lesson. In most of the cases, it has no lesson to pass. But the major thing is that it is there to make people laugh using exaggerated characters and exaggerated events. That is what we mean by this fast. This is where we're going to be stopping for today. Expect more of our classes, maybe in literature or English language. Do not forget